Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm gonna give you guys a minute or two to hop on because I know that it is probably just in time for you guys to all be getting home from work or unwinding from dinner. So when you do hop on, comment and let me know you're here so I can say hi. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to start by mentioning what I'm doing right now, which is sitting here in my freaking pajamas. Hey Crystal, how's it going? Hey Victoria. So yeah, I'm sitting here in my pajamas right now, hanging out. And this is probably the thing I love the most about coaching is just like fitting it in the cracks of life. You know, Anthony's in the shower. He'll probably cook dinner while I do this. But the flexibility to me is a really amazing asset and something that I freaking love about coaching. I love that I get to wear really dorky workout t-shirts, which by the way, I'm calling myself out. I wore the same shirt yesterday, but it didn't smell funny, so I wore it again today. Because again, coach life, that's how I roll. Almost lost my phone. I don't know what happened. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I wrote out all my notes, which is like really funny to me because I'm basically telling you guys my story, and I'm like, why do I need notes to tell my own story? But I was afraid I'd forget something or like word vomit all over you guys, so I have to keep myself in line. So yeah, I'm gonna get started, and you guys can just jump in, jump off. Feel free to post questions. I probably won't be super focused on the comments because it'll distract me, but at the end I will give you guys some time to ask some questions about coaching. So let's dig in. For starters, for anyone who's here because another coach invited you, my name is Britjasperson. I'm a team Beachbody coach, obviously. I am actually the founder of Team Diesel and Daisies, which is currently the number 945 team out of a company of about 400,000. So we're kicking some booty over in TDD. I'm a wife to my twin flame, Anthony. I am a fur mom to my insane psychopath cattle dog Diesel, who's the sunshine of my freaking life. Daughter to my parents, who I hang out with almost every single day. And I've been coaching for a little over 2 years now. So that's just a little intro, so you know what you're in for. But I want to just dig right into my story and tell you guys how I got to being a coach and how I got to where I am today. So basically in elementary school, I was always thicker, and when I got into the upper grades, I got really, really chubby. And I think it was a combination, like knowing what I know about my body now, I think it was partly hormonal and partly like a physical thing with me. And then I think it was also, I was just eating sweets and eating junk food that I could get my hands on, you know. So I struggled a little bit with my weight, and I always remember feeling kind of different. I have this really distinct memory of one of my girlfriends like pulling up her shirt and being like, look, you can see my ribs, and then me being like, you can't see mine, and just feeling like a little strange. I always knew that I was kind of like different from the other girls or whatever. And then probably my most traumatic memory about that was in 6th grade, we did, I don't know if you guys did this too, I was like square dancing. And so they let the boys ask the girls to square dance with them, but of course the boy I had a crush on did not ask me. I was not popular or very cute. So they paired me up with somebody, which was fine, whatever. But after we got done square dancing and I was walking away, I heard him tell his friend I had to dance with some fat girl. That's what he said about me. And it was pretty traumatic. So I decided that between 6th and 7th grade, I was like, I don't want to be the fat girl anymore. So what the heck do I need to do to handle it? So I remember talking to my mom about it, and she taught me what she knew, which was very much like the old school way of losing weight. She's like, you need to eat low fat, low sugar, do cardio, just kind of like that old school mentality of weight loss. And so I basically, over that summer, worked out with her every day by walking the neighborhood, and I just started kind of like calorie counting and just doing the normal stuff that people do when they want to lose weight. And that combined with puberty, I lost a ton of weight, and to the point where my own best friend did not recognize me on the first day of 7th grade after summer break, which was pretty insane. But the thing is that I went from chubby little elementary schooler to really curvy woman. I didn't have that normal high school phase that girls have. Hey Janice, how's it going? I didn't have that normal phase that most high school girls have where they get like skinny or gawky or thin. I never went through that. I went chubby, curvy woman. That was it. There was no in between. So I still felt strange. I still felt different. I still got called fat and wasn't really comfortable in my own body. Even though I literally weighed 114 pounds, I was not even remotely fat, but I still got called that because my body was so different than everyone else's who was my age. So around 14 or 15 years old, I actually got molested by my uncle, who is a convicted felon for child molestation. And within 2 weeks of that, I ended up in ER with my first symptoms of what I now know to be my autoimmune condition. I didn't know it then. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I just knew I felt like shit, and I went into the ER to get help, and they had no idea how to help me. No big surprise to any of you who have autoimmunity. So that kind of started this 2-year journey with doctors. And I went to every flippin' doctor on earth. I did every test on earth. I had 2 colonoscopies. I had all these different blood tests done. They were looking for Crohn's and von Willebrand's, and they were looking for all these different things, and nothing was coming up. They're just like, well, you know, you're fine. Only obviously you're not fine, but we have no idea. Nothing's technically wrong with you. So I spent 2 years trying to figure this out with doctors, and I finally gave up. I was like, obviously it's in my head, or they're just not smart enough to figure it out. I don't know what the deal is, but I kind of just gave up. But meanwhile, I'd already been kind of struggling with my body image a little, and I'd already been, you know, I kind of had the sensation that I was different, and maybe had a little bit of depression going on just because, like, puberty hormones, stupid teenage shit. But after getting molested, I absolutely spiraled, not only with my physical health, but with my emotional health. And it really sent me into a tizzy of depression, anxiety, and body dysmorphia. And I want to talk about that for just a second, because I know that I look at my mentor and she talks about her past with alcoholism, and she talks about how she was a broke waitress before being a coach, and now she has tons of money, obviously. And so I look at her and it's hard for me to even understand that she went through that. Like, I certainly don't think she's lying, but I'm like, you're doing so well now, I can't even relate to that part of your story, that even happened to you. And I have the feeling that a lot of you guys probably feel that way about me. You know, I throw it around that I had depression, anxiety, and body dysmorphia, like it ain't no big thing. And I'm sure it's hard for you guys to even see me how I am now and like really believe or comprehend that that was something I went through. But I want to talk about each of those just briefly so you can hopefully relate to my struggle. So the thing I remember the most about depression is that I stopped loving the things that I love. So obviously you guys know me. I was the same then as I am now. I love dogs. I love music. I love, you know, learning. I love my parents. And all of a sudden, kind of like overnight, I think my parents are the worst, most horrible, awful people in the whole world. I think that my dogs are annoying. I just didn't want to be around them. I'm like, you're just bugging me. Get away from me. I didn't want to sing anymore. I went from being an A/B student in school to getting D pluses, and that was luckily a passing grade, and I think that was my teacher doing me favors. So everything I just stopped having any passion for anything that I love because of depression. So that's the main thing I remember about that. The thing I remember about anxiety is it's basically like stress on crack. So when we think of stress, obviously it's not a great feeling, but it can kind of motivate you. It can kind of get you off your butt and be like, oh my God, I'm stressed. I need to do this, this, and this. Get it done, power through, and then you'll feel better, right? So like there's that light at the end of the tunnel. You know you just need to handle some shit and it'll go away. Well, when you have anxiety, you don't know that. When you have anxiety, it feels like there is no light at the end of the tunnel, and it might be something so tiny. It might be like, I have 2 homework assignments tonight, but you literally think it's the apocalypse, and you're like, life is over. I can't handle this. It's overwhelming. What's the point? And it just feels so huge and like life altering, and that's how almost everything feels when you have anxiety. And it feels like there is no end in sight. There is no light at the end of the tunnel, and it will actually stunt you from handling anything at all. Like stress may motivate you, but anxiety will actually keep you from doing anything. So that was what I remember about anxiety. And then what I remember about my body dysmorphia was I would look in the mirror, and to me, I would literally see, the words I would have used for it was like the most hideous monster who'd ever lived. And I know that sounds super dramatic, but that's honestly how I felt. I knew in my brain, logically, that other people looked at me and thought I was pretty. I knew that. They told me that. but I didn't feel that about myself at all. And when I looked in the mirror, I saw all the flaws. I saw, you have this bump in your nose, you have small boobs, you have cellulite, you are fat, you this, you that, and I would just rip myself to pieces. And even though people would tell me, you're pretty, what are you talking about? In my mind, I thought they were all looking at me and judging me because I was judging myself. You know, it really is an internal thing. It's kind of narcissistic. You project your view of yourself onto other people. But yeah, I just remember thinking, there's no way you could think I'm pretty. Like, I know you look at me and you see this and you see that. It's not in my head. These are facts. I actually have cellulite. Look, you know, and you're just so convinced that you are so unattractive. And so that was kind of the rabbit hole I was going down after I got molested. And I was basically, I don't know if you guys have heard this term, but there's a term now that goes around, and the term is pro-Ana. And it's basically young girls who idolize anorexic women. So they'll post like pictures of someone who is severely anorexic, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, body goals, this is what I want, I need to do this, whatever. They like aspire to be anorexic. That pro-Ana wasn't a term when I was young, but that was me. I looked at people who were like 98 pounds and stick thin and unhealthy and starving themselves, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's the goal. That's what I need to do. That's what I need out of life. I want to be like her. And I thought that was great, you know, because I was so insecure in my own body. And so it started this cycle for me. And the cycle was, I'd want to be anorexic because that was my goal. And I would starve myself for a day, and then I would wake up the next day, I'd be lethargic, and I'd have these insane cravings for carbs because my body is like, holy shit, I need energy. And so for 2 days straight, I'd have these massive carb cravings, and I would pig out and like totally binge eat. And then I would look in the mirror and be like, you're a horrible person. Now you're fatter than ever. You don't even have the willpower to be anorexic. You're like the lowest of the low. And to punish yourself, you need to starve yourself. So I'd starve myself for a day. And then I'd wake up hungry. And then I'd binge for 2 days. And it was just over and over and over on repeat. And I had this horrible, horrible relationship with food. So at 16 years old, I finally open up to my parents that I have some of this stuff going on. And they, of course, they want to give me help, and I was open to it. At that point, I was like, yes, I obviously need some freaking help. And so we, at the time, unfortunately, did not understand the difference between therapist and psychologist and psychiatrist. We just thought it was kind of like a hierarchy of like good, better, best. So we're like, obviously, we want to go to the best. I need a psychiatrist. So I start going to the psychiatrist, not really understanding what it is the psychiatrists do. And he immediately puts me on antidepressants. I was on Zoloft and Wellbutrin, a combination of the two, which was fine. And I have no issue with that part of my story, or that I was on medication. But the disturbing part to me, looking back, was that I would show up looking for help. I wanted his help, and I'd bring in drawings of night terrors I had and poetry I'd written and all this different stuff, looking for his help and guidance and looking to overcome what I'd been through, and he had no interest. And he made it very clear that he had no interest. He just wanted to give me meds, make sure I wasn't suicidal, and send me on my way. And that was really tough to take because I am doing the hard thing by reaching out for help, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care to talk to me about it. He doesn't care to hear about my feelings. He doesn't care to help me. He's like, here's your prescription. Bye. See you next month. So I go on these medications, and I will say that I almost immediately, like within 2 weeks, felt this insane cloud lifted. Like I'd spent all this time in self-loathing and just like absolutely like depressed and going through so much. And then I go on these medications, and I was like, I'm free. Like I can breathe again. I don't hate myself. Like I feel normal. And it was like, oh my God, I almost felt like ecstasy because I just felt normal. Like I was like, this is what it's like to not live under this darkness all the time. And so consequently, because I didn't hate myself anymore, I ate and ate and ate and ate a lot of food. My boyfriend at the time and I would go and we'd get a pizza. We'd each eat a whole pizza. And then later that day, we'd go get a double-decker from Taco Bell. And then later that day, we'd go and get a large Slurpee from 7-Eleven. And this was like a pretty regular thing. This didn't just happen like 2 times. This is like something we did on the regular. I just ate so much fucking food. And I was obviously gaining weight, and I literally gave no fucks. Like, those medications made me not care. I looked in the mirror, I was like, look at me, I look great. And it was all good. I didn't give a shit. So I went from about 125 pounds. I'm like 5'3", 5'4". So I went from 125 pounds to the last time I weighed during that period, I was 150. Not to say I didn't go over that. I purposely stopped weighing because I was like, I don't think I can handle seeing my weight anymore. I probably went over 150, but that was the highest weight I ever actually saw on the scale. And so then meanwhile, this guy, again, as I mentioned, he's not interested in talking to me. I'm not actually dealing with anything. I'm just masking my symptoms with meds, eating a lot of food, gaining a lot of weight, right? So at 17 years old, I was like, hey dude, I'm doing really good now. I'm ready to get off the meds. You can either help me, you can help wean me off of the medication, or I'm gonna do it myself. Those are your options. And so he was like, yeah, you're doing well. Like, I'll help you wean off the meds. So I weaned off the meds, and then I look in the mirror and I was like, holy shit, I weigh 150 pounds. Like, how did that happen? Oh yeah, it was like pizza and Slurpees. I remember how that happened now. So obviously I was like, I need to lose all this weight. So I went back to what I knew. Calorie counting, low fat, sugar-free, and cardio, right? Same thing over and freaking over. So as I get involved in that life again, I start to feel some of my residual issues that were never handled creeping back. And so I kind of went into this like crazy phase of my life. Basically at 18 years old, my high school boyfriend broke up with me, and we've been together for about 3 years on and off. And I started dating around, and one of the people that I dated was Anthony, and he really took an interest in me and got kind of, I felt like he was getting serious quickly, and therefore I broke it off with him in a really like a brutal, not nice way. And then I was dating this other guy, and he was also super sweet, and then because he was so sweet and I felt like he took me seriously, I went and dated his best friend behind his back and hurt both their feelings really bad and super screwed up their friendship. And then meanwhile, I'm, calorie counting and trying to get my body back right. And so I make this big mess of my life. I'm starting to feel these residual issues creeping back in my life. I'm in school for 15 units. I was at Cypress at the time, 15 units of classes. So that's more than full time. I was working at a Mazda dealership for 30 to 32 hours a week. And my only day off was Wednesdays. And I would go to this goth club in Garden Grove called Infirmary and drink and party all night long on my one day off a week instead of relaxing. And I just treated my body like crap during that phase, like absolute crap. I felt so upset about everything that happened. Like my high school boyfriend and I break up, then I screwed up with Anthony, then I hurt these guys who are really sweet guys, and now I'm just partying, working, school, trying to just like run myself ragged to mask it all. So the consequence is that I get strep throat 5 times in 1 year, which isn't surprising because I was just such a stress case all the time. And then because I'm part of this party scene now, right, I'm part of the goth club scene, I start judging myself again. I start looking at these other girls and like, they're skinnier than me, they're hotter than me. I didn't have self-esteem because I treated people like crap, and I knew I was acting like crap, so I didn't feel good about myself. So my way to fix that was to get back into my bad eating habits. So my strategy then was I had 1 serving of Cheerios in the morning, like literally according to the box serving with skim milk. So this like 3/4 cup, I think is what it was. I'd have like a piece of wheat bread with avocado, like a half an avocado for lunch. And then for dinner, I'd be like, sweet, now I can afford to have some alcohol without gaining weight. And then maybe I'd eat like some pasta. Like again, it was like really unhealthy counting mentality and always restricting and then trying to get away with like eating and drinking inflammatory crappy stuff, which is why I got strep throat 5 times in 1 freaking year. So this was definitely my hot mess era and kind of like one of my major rock bottoms. So at 19 years old, I just wake up one day and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have been acting like a piece of shit. Like, what is wrong with me? This is not who I am. This is not my character. This is not what I'm all about. It's no wonder I've been partying and trying to distract myself because I'm not acting like myself. I need to get it together. And that club? Oh no. I hope you never saw me there. But yeah, so basically I realized that I've been acting like a piece of crap, and I decided to do a freaking life makeover. So I get rid of all of my friends because I've made all these friends along the way, but they're club friends, they're party friends, they're not real friends, they're not real quality people. So I'm like, all the friends have got to go. I actually got laid off from my job at Mazda, which is the biggest blessing that's ever happened in my freaking life. Thank you, God, for small blessings. So I got laid off from Mazda. My parents were like, focus on school. Like, you have this opportunity right in front of you. Focus on school. So that's what I did. I went hard with school. I immediately got my grades up to straight A's. I basically only hung out with my parents because I had no friends left. And I was like, hey, I have 2 friends right here who are super freaking awesome, who've always been there for me. So I would hang out with my parents and just grind on school. And then all of a sudden, because I'm doing that for like 6 months, a year, I started thinking of Anthony again. And I'm like, man, like out of all that bullshit I went through, I had this amazing person in front of me, and I was just I needed to go through what I needed to go through, right? And so I had this amazing person, and I missed out on my opportunity because I needed to be like the hot mess express for a while. And so I remember I thought about it for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I went to my mom and I told her, hey, you know that guy Anthony I dated, like I have been thinking about him again. I really screwed it up. I kind of want to reach out to him, but I'm not sure if I even should. And she was like, honestly, Britt, like you acted like such a piece of crap towards him that you owe it to him to go apologize and say whatever you need to say. And then if he says he hates you and you're an asshole, then so be it. But like, he deserves to hear that from you. And so it was back in the MySpace days. I went and I MySpaced him. And the worst part was that you can see back in those MySpace days, it would tell you if they read it. But like, he read it and didn't respond, and I was like, no, he hates me. And so I waited like a month, and then he finally responded, and he was like, you know what? I really cared about you, and I really thought we had something, and like, you really hurt me, and I am open to forgiving you, but I only want you in my life if our relationship will actually go somewhere this time. And I was like, yes, I promise. I am in a whole different place. I went through all that crap, and then I did a life makeover, because that's not who I actually am. I went through some stuff, and now I'm through it, you know? And so he was like, okay. So we started dating. That was, you know, when I was 19 years old, almost 20. And then at 20 years old, I started realizing, you know what? Those health issues that I had back when I was 15 to 17, they never freaking went away. I've had those health issues the whole time, and they're affecting my life. They're making me not feel well. They're making me not feel sexy. I don't want them interfering in my relationship. Like, this shit needs to get handled. Like, those doctors were stupid. Like, I need to find a new doctor and just get this handled, whatever the heck it is. So at the time, I'd gone to a pediatric GI. So this time I was like, I'm going to go to the regular adult GI and see what they have to say. So I go to the regular adult GI. I tell him all that I've been through. And he's like, okay, so you need a colonoscopy. And I was like, no, I fucking don't. I've had 2 of them. I can show you. And nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong in my digestive tract, apparently. I'm looking for different ideas. You know, I've already been there and done that. Like, come up with something different. And he literally refused to help me. He was like, unless you're going to do a colonoscopy, I can't help you. Too bad. And I was like, all right. So once again, I'm given the message that I'm just unhealthy, and that's my reality, and there's nothing that I or anyone else can do about it. So yeah, I basically just accepted that as my fate. At the time, I was also chronically stressed. I was in school. I graduated in biology, which is not an easy major. And Anthony and I actually had a very, very tumultuous dating relationship. We had a ton of ups and a ton of downs. Our highs were high and our lows were lows. And again, I still had some of that residual body image crap because no one ever helped me handle it when I was crying out for help. So basically, combine all this. What do we do to make ourselves feel good? Well, we eat fast food all the time, like probably like 4 nights a week. We go out and eat fast food. And then because I'm such a stress case all the time and I don't know how to handle my life, I would drink on the weekends to unwind because I had no idea how else to even relax or enjoy my life. So, you know, I have this period of chronic bad eating, chronic stress, just a lot going on. So at age 23, Anthony and I get engaged, and probably sounds like a good thing, but at the time we were broken up. And in fact, we had been broken up for 5 out of 8 months. And for the last month of that, we literally did not speak. Not one single time. He and I both agreed this is not working. We both need to move on. We are not talking anymore. Here's your stuff. Here's your stuff. Over. And we didn't talk, and I went to Colorado on a vacation to get over him, and he went to Vegas on a vacation to get over me, and we were completely done. And I was devastated, but I finally, after that Colorado vacation, I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to feel a little bit better. And then he calls me up out of the blue saying he wants to talk, and I'm like, this fucking guy, like, I thought we were done. So I go to talk to him and he proposes. So we got engaged, and that was very stressful in and of itself. Because I'm like, is this gonna work? Am I doing the right thing? Like, this seems really psychotic. What are people gonna think? Like, it was really bizarre. And then he went through some personal stuff, and he actually got into this kind of depression of his own. And I'm an empath, so I, on top of being stressed about our engagement, am now dealing with the fact that he's going through this little depression, and I am just like taking all of this in and just feeling like shit. So within about 2 or 3 months of that, my autoimmunity went to hell in a handbasket. Again, I didn't know I had autoimmunity. I just knew I had health issues. Well, I acquired a shit ton of new symptoms literally overnight. Like, I remember the exact day that I was like, holy shit, what is going on with my body? All this new stuff is happening. So literally overnight, I have all these new symptoms that are making my life freaking miserable. So, I basically from there started going to doctors, obviously. Within 1 month, I diagnosed myself with my autoimmune condition, and I told every doctor I ever encountered for that next year what I had, and they all told me I was wrong, and I just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And finally, they ran out of ideas, so they're like, well, we might as well test you for that thing you think you have. So they did a biopsy, and I was correct, and I was like, yes, thank you. I'll send you the bill. So the hard part about this was I already knew everything there was to know about this condition because I knew that it's what I had. And here's what they'll say if you look it up on the internet. It's rare, chronic, and progressive. And they basically say, like, there is no chance of healing. Here's a steroid. It's the only medically accepted treatment. It may or may not help you. Good luck with your life. And that was my prognosis that I was given with my autoimmune condition. So I was like, okay, so I've already lived with all this pain. Now my pain is 1,000 times worse. And now that I've been diagnosed, you literally can't help me. So that's awesome. But luckily I had this great holistic doctor. She was actually my dermatologist, who is actually now part of my business. But she got me into physical therapy. She's like, this is a totally alternative method, but it's worth a shot. So she got me into physical therapy with a specialist, and then the physical therapist got me into acupuncture. So at this point in time, from about May to July, I'm going to 3 appointments a week to try to work on my autoimmune condition. And I think that I'm getting better at this point. I'm like, okay, I think I'm about 25% better with my symptoms. So like, I'm going to keep going and see what happens. And then Anthony and I got in an argument, which to this day, I can't even tell you what the argument was, honestly. But it's like our tradition every year to fight around the 4th of July. I don't know why. It's like our annual fight. So we had our annual fight that year, and this was July of 2013, and my autoimmunity went insane from the stress of that fight. Insane. Worst flare of my life. Excruciating pain. Bizarre nerve sensations, feeling like bugs were crawling all over me and just feeling so crazy. It was just, I was watching my body literally disintegrate before my eyes. It was horrible. And it would have been bad enough anytime, but it was 10 times worse because I was working so hard on all these appointments and all this mind work trying to get in a better spot. And I thought I was getting better. And then it's like, just kidding, you're 10 times worse now. And I remember having this day where it was my rock bottom. It's my rock bottom day. There was a very specific day. I fell to my knees on the ground in my living room, and I was bawling my eyes out, and I was screaming at God. And I was like, you cannot bring me to this challenge and leave me here to die. Like, you cannot bring me to this challenge and give me no resources to heal myself or get better. That is not the point of this. I am not just here to disintegrate. I am here to overcome this. And I literally screamed, you have to give me something. You have to give me something. And I was a wreck. I just like was beside myself. I felt like if cancer is a death sentence, you know, if you're told you have cancer and people are like, oh my God, I have cancer, I'm gonna die. My autoimmunity to me was a life sentence. It was saying, okay, you're not going to die, but you're literally going to live your entire life inside this broken body and you're going to suffer. And I was like, how am I supposed to live until I'm 85 years old or 90 years old suffering? Like, this is the worst thing ever. And so that was my rock bottom moment. And within 1 hour, my stem cell doctor calls me. which is just crazy. To this day, I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? So my stem cell doctor calls me and they're like, oh yeah, we hear you're interested in learning more about a procedure. And so they tell me all about how it works. And then they tell me it's, this was, again, July 2013. They tell me it's $9,000 for 3 treatments. And you can only buy it in 3 treatments. You can't buy less than 3. So it's going to be $9,000. And, oh, by the way, we don't even have any openings until October. And I was like, you're fucking kidding me. Like, I'm literally sitting here disintegrating, dying in physically, mentally, like I'm a disaster. And you're going to tell me that you can't see me until October. Like, really? And then the girl says, well, this is a little weird, but she's like, we're one of very few people who do this procedure, so a lot of people will literally fly out from other states. And you're actually kind of local because they're up in LA. And so she said, you know, we had a cancellation tomorrow. Like, would you want to come in tomorrow? And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, no. Like, thank you. I appreciate the option, but my husband doesn't even know this procedure exists. I have not told him about it, let alone that it costs $9,000, let alone that I want to do it tomorrow. So thank you, but no thank you. But I am going to talk to him, and I'll definitely get back with you guys, and, you know, hopefully we can work something out. So I text the site for this doctor to Anthony, and I tell him what happened, and I don't hear from him for hours, and I'm like, fuck, he hates me. Like, he hates me for even suggesting this, because we're already spending all this time and money trying to help me heal. He already knows I'm getting worse. He already knows I'm a mental mess. And then I'm asking him, hey, by the way, look at this $9,000 treatment. So I think he's probably mad at me. And within a couple hours, he gives me a call, and he said, I read the site that you sent me from that doctor. And I was like, yeah, what did you think? And he said, I think it sounds really good. What do you think? And I said, honestly, I feel like it's my only hope. Like, I feel trapped. I feel like I'm out of options. Like, I don't know what else I have left. Like, this is it for me. And he said, I think that, you said there's an appointment tomorrow. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I know that's not even possible. I know that we don't have $9,000 laying around. And he said, if there's an appointment tomorrow and you want to do it, you need to do it. You need to call them and make the appointment. And I just started bawling because I was like, this is my hope. Like, this, I just screamed at God and he literally listened to me. So I called up the doctor. I made the appointment for the next day. And I was in the next day getting my first of what ended up being 5 stem cell treatments. So you can do the math on how much money we spent on that treatment alone out of pocket, because the insurance says we don't cover that. So what I knew about stem cells, though, was that it's regenerative medicine. It does not heal. It can help repair damage and it can help symptoms, but it does not cure you. That's the word I was looking for. It does not cure you. And I knew that going into it. And I thought, okay, if I'm getting this done and it's going to start repairing my body, I need to do my part, right? I need to do my part. And I've been learning about autoimmunity and all of the things that cause autoimmunity. And I know, okay, mold, yeast, heavy metals, poor nutrition, nutrient deficiencies, stress, you know, physical stress, emotional stress. And I started kind of connecting the dots of all the things that causes autoimmunity. And I thought, I need to do a life makeover. Like, if we're going to pay all this money for these stem cells, I need to literally change my habits so that I can maintain whatever progress I make with this. I love Kelsey's comment, Maria, best gift from God is a trusting and supportive husband. Yes. Yes. Our marriage was, our relationship was tough, and getting married was a tough adjustment. But the second I got diagnosed with autoimmunity, he was like so on my team. I was even struggling to be on the same team because I just felt isolated with my disease. I just felt like no one gets it. Like, even though my family loved me through it, I was like, they don't get it. And he just continued being there and loving me anyway at my absolute freaking worst. And I'm so insanely grateful for him. But yeah, so I realized at this point that I need to make these changes in my own life to maintain the progress I make with stem cells. So the things that I happen to do, and this is so crazy, I did an elimination diet, first of all. And so that basically means you pull out anything that might be an allergen or a sensitivity, and then you slowly add it back in to see what you react to. So basically, I cleaned up my diet. It's a very complicated way of cleaning up your diet. I started adding in tons of superfoods. So when you start really researching autoimmunity, you will learn about all these different superfoods that are known to have all these crazy, for lack of a better way of saying it, and this is this is not, I'm not saying this in a scientific way, I'm saying this in a Brit talking from experience way, like they have healing powers. Like they're known to be super nutrient dense, and certain ones are known to do certain things, like maca, for example, is known for regulating hormones and stuff like that. So I started figuring out what superfoods are good for what kind of things, like what's going to help inflammation and what's going to help hormones. And I started just experimenting the shit out of my life with superfoods and taking chlorella and spirulina and bee pollen and goji berry and raw cacao and all these different things that are nutrient dense and can help fill in these nutrient deficiencies that I might have as someone with autoimmunity. So that was another thing I did. And then I started realizing, okay, I've always worked out, but I've done cardio because I want to be skinny, and that's kind of not the point. Like if I want to heal, the fundamental unit of healing is oxygen. So I need to get oxygen pumping through my body, and I'm done with this cardio skinny shit. Like I'm done. So I need to figure out something else. I'd never had the confidence to try anything else. So I went on like a spending spree on Amazon and bought like every workout DVD ever. Ironically, except for Beachbody. I bought no Beachbody, but I bought Jillian Michaels 30-Day Shred, Jillian Michaels Kettlebell, Tracy Anderson Method, Ballet Beautiful, Pilates. Like I bought all this stuff and I was like, I'm just going to try some shit and see what sticks. And so the thing that resonated the most with me was the Jillian Michaels workouts, because I really enjoyed having weights. So the kettlebell one was my jam, and I started feeling kind of powerful again. I felt like, okay, yeah, my body is messed up, and yeah, I have a lot of limitations right now, but I can still throw the shit out of this kettlebell, and that makes me feel kind of awesome. And I know I'm doing something kind for my body by getting that oxygen pumping and strengthening my muscles and giving myself this gift. So I kind of started on this trajectory of like, I'm gaining confidence, I'm feeling a little better, I'm understanding autoimmunity, I feel like I'm going in the right direction. And then I felt this insane moral obligation to talk about it, because I was like, I can't just start healing myself and then not share what I've learned with other people, especially because it's a lot easier to prevent autoimmunity than it is to heal it once that ball's in motion. And so I was like, maybe I can help people actually prevent autoimmunity if I share my story with them and I tell them what I've done to help myself and warn them that if they don't do these things, that maybe they could end up with autoimmunity like I did. So I started sharing this whole journey on social media, the superfoods, the meals I was making, the workouts, all of it. And around this time, this chick named Melissa, who you may now know as my best friend, found me on Instagram. And it's very strange. I don't even remember the exact moment this happened, but at the time I was very closed off. I wasn't looking for new friends. I wasn't looking for new connections, but she commented on some of my stuff, and she had an old senior dog, and I had an old senior dog, and she posted these workout videos of herself working out from home. So I was like, I kind of dig this chick. Like, I can get on board with this. Like, I can talk to her about dogs. I could steal her workout moves. Like, okay, you can be my friend. Which is so weird because, like I said, that was not like a thing that I was doing at the time. I was not meeting people on social media, but I was just open to her specifically for some reason. And so I'm watching her, and I finally see, wait, she's posting about her dog like I am. She's posting about her food like I am. She's posting about her workouts like I am. She keeps talking about making a paycheck, and I'm not making a paycheck. No one's paying me any money to do this shit. Like, what am I doing wrong? So I literally messaged her, and I think that's what I said. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I'm doing the same thing as you, and no one's paying me for it, so what's the secret? Like, I need to know. And that's when she explained the coaching opportunity to me. And I remember a couple things about that conversation. Number one, I was a huge Shakeology skeptic because I had been through hell. I learned so much about nutrition. My assumption was it's some protein shake. I know what's in protein shakes, chemically weird shit that I don't want in my body. So I was like, I don't know about this Shakeology crap that you're talking about. That was the first thing. The second thing was I was like, can I really make money doing it? Is she really making money? So I remember like calling my mom and being like, hey mom, remember how you did that like Christmas around the world thing when I was little? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, is that something you can really make money doing? And she's like, yeah, Britt, like you can definitely make money, but she's like, you have to know that that's a job. Like, it's not a hobby. It's not like people come to you and they're like, here's my dollar bills. Like, you have to work it like a business. So that's up to you if you want to take on a job or not. But like, if you do, like, yes, you can make money as long as you treat it like a job. And so I told Melissa, I was like, here's the deal. I'm going to try your challenge pack, which comes with the Shakeology, the nutrition plan, that time, just one workout, and access to a challenge group. So I was like, I'm going to try your shit. I'm going to see. I was very skeptical. I'm going to see if I think that it's healthy, because I know everything, obviously. Oh my God, you're watching Christmas around the world. I don't even, like, honestly, I've never heard of anyone else doing that. I don't even really know what it is. But yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna try your challenge pack thing. It's so cute that you have challenge pack. I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna let you know if my superior self thinks that it's healthy, and then I can represent this. So I got my challenge pack, and the first thing I did was look at the Shakeology ingredients, and I was blown away because I was like, this is like basically everything I'm taking as a pillar powder right now, like all the superfoods I'm taking, plus more. And when I added it to my smoothie, at the time I'd been making NutriBullets with all these things mixed in one by one, and they tasted like shit. They were so foul, but I was strictly doing it for my health. So I was like, whatever, it is what it is. But once I got Shakeology and I mixed Shakeology in, I was like, holy shit, I'm getting all those superfoods. I'm paying less money for it, and it doesn't taste like mud. So I'm pretty freaking excited about the Shakeology junk that I was very skeptical about. And then I got in the challenge group and I saw all these people participating and like needing help, and I was like, I can help you. I can answer that question. I know about this. I know about that. And I immediately was like, I'm becoming a coach. So I started sharing my journey as I went through the 21 Day Fix on my social media to kind of gain some momentum. And then right when I finished, March 9th of 2015, I signed up as a coach. I couldn't wait. I was chomping at the bit. So that is my story of what brought me up to coaching. So with that said, I'm going to share a little disclaimer, and then I'm going to get into some achievements that I've had since then. So the disclaimer is that Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income, and your success is going to be completely based on your diligence, skill, and effort. So this is not a quick fix. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy. This business is very simple. It is very, very simple. But it's not easy to show up and be your own boss and work your booty off for yourself and reach out to people. There are definitely challenges that come with it. And so you're going to be as successful as you're willing to be, as hard as you're willing to work, as much as you're willing to get out of your comfort zone. That's how successful you're going to be. You're not guaranteed success by just, signing up. You're going to have to do the work. I think that should go for any job, but sadly that needs to be said to some people in our participation trophy generation. So there you go. It was said. With that said, my first month as a coach, I paid $140 to sign up with my challenge pack, and my first month as a coach, I made $250. So I not only paid myself back immediately for my investment, but I also actually made profit in my first month, which was freaking awesome. I'm actually now making enough to cover our Southern California mortgage, which is so freaking cool to me. When I joined this business, my goal was $500 a month. I was like, if I can just make $500 a month in addition to my Shakeology, I'll be super happy, and I can contribute to these huge medical bills that I've caused, and it will take a big, I'll feel a burden lifted that I'm contributing. And that literally was my only goal. I did not go into this with any other goal than to make $500 a month and help contribute to medical bills. And now I'm paying our whole freaking mortgage on my income, and it continues to grow, which is so cool to me and just mind-blowing when I really sit to think about it, that I'm doing that from home looking like this. So with that said, I also treated myself to a cruise last year that I earned through the company to Jamaica and Nassau. And then I treated Anthony and I to a trip that I earned this year, which you guys just probably saw, to Punta Cana. Those were both paid for by the company. I earned it through the company. We are now, as I mentioned in the beginning, we're now a top 1,000 team, 945 out of a company of 400 freaking thousand, which is also pretty insane to me. And my goal actually for this year is to get us up to top 200, and next year I'd love to lead us to top 10. So whether or not we make it is to be seen, but the thing I've learned about goals along the way is that goals are really about who you become when you're trying to reach them more than they're even about reaching them. So I know if I shoot for those goals, even if I don't reach them, I'm going to be better for it. My business is going to be better for it. My coaches are going to be better for it. So that's the plan. That's what we're shooting for. I have not actually said this out loud yet, and I will probably craft a post about it, but you're the first to know because you bothered to be here. I would actually dare to say that my autoimmunity is in remission. And that has always been my goal. My goal was actually like autoimmune remission by age 30 was what I wanted. And it looks a little different than I thought. I thought that autoimmune remission meant I would have perfect health. I do not have perfect health, unfortunately, but as you guys have probably seen on my social media, I've had this flare of yeast in my gut ever since vacation. And yeast, as I mentioned earlier in this call, is a factor that contributes to autoimmunity. And in fact, if you have yeast that's high in your body, your autoimmune is going to flare, right? Because it's a cause of autoimmunity. And so I have this flare of yeast going on, and my autoimmune condition is nowhere to be seen. I am not symptomatic of my autoimmune condition at all, and this should directly cause a flare. So I'm pretty freaking stoked on that, you guys. And that really is, I actually have goosebumps right now. And thank you, Kelsey, for sharing my enthusiasm. But that I do believe is a testament to the lifestyle I live because I'm a coach. You know, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't have the knowledge I have and the discipline I have if I wasn't a coach. I just wouldn't. And so thank you, Beachbody, for helping me do something that everyone literally told me was impossible. So I'm really excited to actually get to say that out loud. Caitlin, I'm going to have a minute at the end for questions. So remind me of that question at the end and I'll get back to that. So yeah, it's I actually feel like my autoimmune condition is finally in remission. My marriage is 10 times better because I'm a coach. It's so crazy, but like I said, I shared the story. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, we've had our struggles. When I got diagnosed with autoimmunity, Anthony was like, all right, let's do this. Let's fight this thing. And I just felt really isolated and distant because I couldn't handle what I was going through. But the second I became a coach, like something changed, and I started doing personal development and really working on my mindset. And I started doing my workouts, and those really empowered me, and I started feeling better. And then Anthony was like, what's the shit you're listening to all the time? And I was like, oh, it's personal development. And he's like, well, maybe I should listen to that. You seem pretty happy all of a sudden. So I got him listening to personal development, and now he's a huge part of my business. He helps me run this business. He helps me with my health. I mean, everything that you see me do, it's really a team effort, and it's really something that we're doing together. And our marriage is just so much better because I made the decision to be a coach. I was recently able to hire a virtual assistant, and it actually was a necessity because my business was growing so much, and I have so many inquiries and so many people to talk to every day that I was like, I don't have time to do the other stuff. So I basically hired her for the other stuff. Like, I do my challenge groups, I talk to people, I run my social media, she does all the other stuff. So it's pretty cool to not only have my own business, but to be able to afford to employ somebody who needed employment. And she just so happens to be a friend that I made over on Instagram. So I got to employ someone who I legit love, and I'm happy to, be a part of her journey and helping her out as well. And she helps me out like freaking crazy. And then these are just like a couple little things that recently happened, but I just wanted to share it with you guys because it made me smile. So we have this financial advisor, and he's actually me and Anthony's financial advisor, and also the financial advisor of my parents. And he's also kind of a friend. We've been through a lot with him. And so my parents recently went to the Train concert with him, and he follows my social media over on Instagram. And he was telling my parents all about everything on my Instagram, which I think is so funny. He's like, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you know this? Did you know that? And he told them, he was like, tell Brit, keep doing what she's doing. She's posting 5 to 8 times a day. She's killing it. I have people who started doing the same thing, and they come to me and they're making 50 grand a year and 80 grand a year just because they freaking posted on social media. So he's like, tell her she's doing amazing and keep doing that. And I can't wait to watch her business grow. And it felt really good to hear that from someone who I really respect. He's an entrepreneur, has his own successful business, has a happy marriage, has the kind of life I would want to have. And he's saying that about what I'm doing. Like, I'm going to keep doing my damn thing because he told me to, and I want what he has. And that's another little, I'm just going to just throw some value in here where I can. But never take advice from someone you wouldn't want to switch places with, you guys. So if you look at someone's life and it sucks and they're trying to give you advice, don't listen to it. And so the other thing that happened was on that same kind of wavelength, we both have the same tax man, my parents and us. And so the tax guy, Anthony went into our tax appointment this year and showed him my 1099 is what we get through Beachbody. He showed him my 1099. And Robert's looking at it, and he's like, oh, that's crazy. So from last year to this year, she tripled. So then from this year to next year, she'll triple. And then the following year, she'll triple. And he's like, we're going to need to, by 4 years in, we're going to need to LLC. Like, we're going to need to incorporate Brit because she's going to have a very lucrative business, and we're going to need to protect her and her business. And that's just like so crazy because that's not coming from me. That's not me looking at my numbers and being like, I believe in myself. That's numbers people looking at my numbers and knowing what they know about business, having built their own successful businesses and helping other people with successful businesses, projecting where my business is going. And so to hear him say that was like, hell yes. To have two really trusted financial people project my business being a success and tripling in income every year, you can count me the fuck in for that. So those are some achievements within my own business. When you do start your business, basically we're going to go over what your goals are. So obviously I told you my goal was to earn $500 a month, and it's increased from there. But it's up to you. You get to decide what your goals are. You get to decide what you want out of it. Do you want to earn some money? Do you just want some accountability? Do you just want, some friendships? Do you want to make $500 a month, $1,000 a month? Like, you tell me what you want, and we take your goals and we run with them. And we make sure that we're shooting you in the right direction and that you can expect the right level of work to make your goals happen. And so with that said, I want to talk a little bit about what we actually do. The bread and butter of our business is challenge groups. So basically your job is simply going to be on your own journey and share about it. Just like you see me do all the freaking time. You guys see me do my job all day, every day. But yeah, actually I heard this quote the other day, and it said, network marketing is simply a self-growth journey with a compensation plan. And I think you can see from my post that that's really rang true for me and my own journey. But yeah, I just think it's like really cool that our whole job is to buy this challenge pack, just like I did, eat superfoods, eat healthy nutrition, exercise, and talk about it. And that's your job. That's what you do as a coach. And then you will run these challenge groups, but you are provided some guides that will tell you what to post. So you're not like flailing, or you're not like thrown out to the wolves like, what am I supposed to do in here? And then also when you sign up, you'll be put in my challenge group at first, and you'll be allowed to add your first challengers into my group as well. So I can help you support them, and you can kind of get your bearings and figure out what you're doing before you're expected to run anything on your own. So that's kind of the main thing of being a coach. It's really not that complicated, but we just basically provide accountability for people, and we say that fitness plus nutrition plus accountability equals success, and that's it. So I wanted to address some hesitations though, because I know when I was looking into this, I already mentioned a couple hesitations that I had, and I know a lot of you guys probably have your own hesitations, and I hear them from you guys all the time. So I want to talk a little bit about those. The first one is you have to be fit to be a coach. This is not true. And I would actually go so far as to say, if you're fit, it's going to be a little bit harder for you. A little bit harder, because you aren't really living that journey in front of people. Like, people are going to be like, you're already thin though. You already have abs though. Like, they're not going to get to watch you transform using Beachbody products in front of their eyes. So if you're not fit, good. I'm glad you're not supposed to be. All your job is to be a normal freaking person, using these resources and using these tools to get your own results, and then sharing about it. You don't already need to have abs. You don't already need to be able to run a marathon. That's not the point. You're supposed to learn to do those things over time. And so I know you watch me on social media and see where I'm at, but remember, I'm over 2 years in. I did not start here. I started with autoimmunity and really freaking depressed. So you can come a long way when you're a coach, and people, that builds credibility in your business. They're like, oh, that shit actually worked for her. Like, I actually watched it work for her. The second hesitation is time. So first of all, when I signed up as a coach, I fit in the cracks. I didn't have a lot of time either. I was majorly battling my autoimmunity still. We had baby Daisy, and she went through a lot with her health, and I did a lot more around the house. I was doing all the cooking, all the cleaning. I was much more housewifey back then, so I didn't have a ton of extra time. So what I would do is, when Anthony would crawl in bed at night and he'd throw on a TV show, I'd spend an hour working my business. That was it. I'd just slip it in the cracks. It wasn't that complicated. It was just a matter of making it a priority. And that's the thing, is we all make time for what's a priority. We all make time for that Starbucks run, and we all make time for Netflix, and we all make time for whatever we want, right? So it's about, is this a priority? Is this something that you really want, and are you willing to fit it in the cracks? But at the end of the day, you're going to need about 30 to 60 minutes a day to build this business. So if you're not willing or able to give it 30 to 60 minutes a day, then you're right. It's probably not for you. But I can't imagine, if I let that stop me from being a coach, how different my life would look, and probably not in a good way. Number 3, fear of criticism. So this is my favorite one because I want to tell you my favorite criticism that I ever received. I remember I was running an ad over on my Facebook like page, and it was like an ad targeted towards, dog moms, and saying how I love getting to work from home and be with my dog all day. And someone went on there, I didn't know her, and she said, who are you posting this ad? You're just a loser with no kids and no job. I'm like, I'm a loser because I figured out how to use birth control and I'm working from home? Like, what? And so that was honestly the meanest thing I've ever had said to me. But here's the deal, is like, haters don't, like her or any hater, haters don't pay your bills, right? Like, you're really gonna let a hater prevent you from making money doing what you're passionate about? I don't. I personally don't. I let them be the fuel to my fire. And I can't wait until that girl comes back to my page and I'm a 6-figure earner or a 7-figure earner and I'm, a top 10 coach, and like, I let that fuel my fire because I'm like, oh, I'm going to show you now. You just watch me. So, I don't even, like, the haters roll off my back at this point, and success is going to upset people. Like, do you guys, I'm sure all of you have experienced this in some capacity, that if you post about a success, there's some asshole who wants to raid on your parade, right? It just happens all the time, sadly. There's always that guy. And you just have to focus on the fact that you're helping people get healthy, and you're helping yourself get healthy, and you're helping your family by earning this income. And so you just have to tune out the occasional hater. And I honestly do not get that many of them. Occasionally it does happen, but it is not frequent. And it's easy to just be like, you know what? Fuck you, and just watch me succeed. So that's just my opinion on haters and criticism. Number 4 is a huge one, and that is a fear of selling. So I want to ask you guys a question, which is, who here wants to be a salesperson? Nobody? Because I personally do not want to be a salesperson. And in fact, I have to tell you something funny. I've talked to Anthony after the fact and asked him what he thought when I told him what I was going to do in becoming a coach. And he told me, I literally thought you were going to suck super bad. And I thought you were signing up for sales. He said, I thought you were signing up to be a salesperson. I know you. I know that you're not a liar. You're not good at faking. You're not good at acting. Like, I thought you were going to be horrible because you were going to have to sell shit. And I didn't realize it wasn't a sales job. So, again, this goes back to what I was just talking about. But our job isn't to sell crap to people. Our job is to share. That's it. You just have to share. And I challenge you. Go look at my social media. Go tell me what I'm selling to you. I'm not. I'm showing you every day that I'm working out. I'm talking about what I'm eating. I'm posting cute pictures of my puppy. I'm putting dirty or funny conversations I had with Anthony. And I'm just being myself. I'm living life. I'm living my journey out loud. My job is not to sell shit to people. My job is to share my journey with people and then invite them to come along if they want to. So it's really not about selling. It's about leading from the front and working on yourself and inspiring other people to join you. And just kind of being an open book. That's the thing about being a coach, is you're going to be the most successful if you're going to be open with people and honest about what you're doing. But there's 0 parties. There's 0 door-to-door. There's nothing like that. You are not selling. You are simply living out loud, and that's it. And then the last one I wanted to talk about is fear of failure. I think a lot of times this comes from spouses. I think a lot of times spouses are not supportive. And I want you to know that my spouse was not supportive when I signed up. I went to him and I told him I was going to sign up to do this thing. And my goal was to earn $500 a month and contribute to our medical bills, and kind of doing what I'm already doing, babe. Like, I'm working out and drinking superfoods, and then I'm sharing about it on social media. And he went, yeah, do whatever you want. Like, he gave no fucks. He was not excited. He was not enthusiastic. He was not like, yeah, that'd be so helpful. He didn't ask questions. He literally was like, not amused by my conversation, and I was so disillusioned. And I went back to him at a later time, and I was like, here's the deal, man. I want to do this thing, but for us. I'm not taking on a job for freaking fun. I'm taking on a job for us because I want to contribute. So are you going to be on board with me and get some enthusiasm, or are you not into this? Like, it's either a yes or a no. I don't like this maybe lukewarm shit. And he was like, no, yeah, that'd be awesome. If you can earn $500 a month, let's do the thing. I believe in you, whatever, even though apparently he didn't. So that's when we decided to go all in. But just know that the people who are closest to you are probably going to criticize this idea the most, and you have to stick to your guns if it's something you're truly interested in. For me, I was like, this is my thing. I feel it, and I'm just gonna do it, you know, like get on my happy train, like I'm doing the damn thing. But yeah, people have this fear of failure, and to be honest, like I had no clue that I would be as successful as I am when I signed up as a coach. Like I didn't really know what was in store for me. I didn't really know what was possible. But it's kind of like that quote that's all over Pinterest or whatever that's like, what if I fail, but darling, what if you fly? Like, I maybe only wanted $500 a month when I started, but it's changed my whole freaking life. Like, what if you fly? What if you fly with it like I have? My life is different financially. We do not have that huge, gigantic medical debt anymore. I do not have to worry about if we can afford our organic groceries anymore. Anthony and I both order a bag of Shakeology every month. No big deal. You see, we travel, like our finances are completely different because I took on this job and it got us out of debt and gave us so much financial freedom. Number one. Number two, mentally, I'm a completely different person. I already started gaining confidence before Beachbody, but Beachbody like took that times 1,000 because of the personal development, because of the community, because the workouts challenged the freaking shit out of me. My confidence is through the roof because of it. My relationship with food, that actually changed the day I started using our portion control containers. Not ever having to count a single fucking calorie again changed my life. Can I repeat that? Not counting calories changed my life. Fuck counting calories. It's an obsession. It ruined my freaking life. And now I don't have to. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't see food as an enemy anymore. I'm not afraid of food. Completely changed my relationship with food. And obviously I'm fitter than I ever was before because I challenged myself more with fitness. My health is completely different. Like I mentioned, my autoimmunity, I would dare to say, is in remission. My body is better now than it's ever been. And the funny thing, I wanted to mention this too about the fitness component. When I signed up as a coach, I remember saying one thing very distinctly, and I think I said this out loud to Melissa. I said, I just want you to know I'm never doing one of those Shaun T workouts. Like, those are crazy. I'm not into it. I don't want to do that. I can't do that. No, no, no. And as of today, I've done Size twice, and I've done Insanity Max 30 twice, and I'm getting ready to do Shaun Week next month. And that's because I've gained confidence, and I know that my body can do whatever I want it to do. I don't have limitations. I can do whatever I want to do, and I learned that through my coaching journey. So with all that said, let's say you fail, which you won't. If you listen to me and you do the things I ask you to do when you sign up, you won't fail. But let's just say that you do. What is the worst thing that's happened from you failing? Like, honestly. You gained some awesome products, the best freaking workouts in the world, in my opinion. You have gained this amazing supportive community. You gained friendships. You've gained accountability. Hopefully you've gained knowledge about superfoods. You know, there's so much to gain from this. If that's the worst case scenario from becoming a coach, is that really that bad? Like, honestly, is it really bad? So that's what I'm going to say on fear of failure. And the last thing I want to talk about is how to earn. So there's like something like 15 or 17 ways or something that you can earn, different ways that you can earn with Beachbody. I'm going to go over kind of the main ones. The most obvious one, and this is how you're going to make your money when you very first sign up, is we get 25% commission on retail sales through your Beachbody website. So basically you're given a website by Beachbody when you sign up. When people purchase any kind of product through you, you're getting 25% commission on that product. So that's number one. The second one is what we call team cycle bonuses, and this one's more actually very complicated, so I won't get too deep into it. But basically, as you bring people onto your team as coaches, you're going to earn income on the volume that they produce. And this is ultimately going to become your main source of income, and it's also going to be your main source of residual income. So basically, that income you're not hustle and grinding for all the time. It's basically Beachbody rewarding you for successfully mentoring your coaches to help other people. That's basically what it boils down to. But we'll talk about how to maximize this in your training because, like I said, it's really complicated. But just know that you get team cycle bonuses, and they're roughly about 5% of what your team is earning. You also get 50% commission on club memberships that include Beachbody On Demand, which is our Netflix of workouts where you get access to everything. There are quarterly bonuses, and this one's so crazy. Me and Anthony were just laughing about this the other night. But Beachbody sets aside 2% of their entire annual earnings, and they give that away as bonuses each quarter to certain ranked coaches. And some of those bonuses are as much as Anthony's entire yearly income. And Anthony has a really good yearly income. So we were laughing because one of the best coaches in our network, she gets that bonus times 4 quarterly because of where she's at in her business. And I'm like, I can't even wrap my head around that kind of money right now, but I wouldn't be mad about it if it happened to me. So I'm going to work for it. But yeah, so there's these quarterly bonuses. You're eligible to earn your first week when you become a coach. You are paid every Thursday, which is why we always smile on Thursdays. No, you don't have to have any stock. You don't have to hold on to any stock in your home. You don't have to throw parties. Everything's done online. Training is done online at your own pace. No quotas that you have to meet. People ask me that all the time. You do not have to meet a quota to be a Beachbody coach. And it's completely up to you how hard you work and what you do to achieve whatever level of success you want to achieve. You know, whatever success looks like to you, you're going to have to work hard enough to achieve that. You don't have to want what I want, but you need to work hard enough to reach whatever your goals are. So that was pretty much what I wanted to cover. And someone had a question. If you're still on here, I know it had something to do with I think it had to do with IBS. So if you're on here, ask your question again, and I will gladly answer it to the best of my ability. If anyone else on here has any questions, feel free to ask. And I will be kind of checking the comments for that. But the last thing I want to talk about is just how to sign up. So if you are interested in signing up as a coach, if this does sound like a fit for you, there's 2 different ways you can sign up. And the first one is to sign up like I did with a challenge pack. And these range from $140 to $305 depending on which one you choose. And the best one right now, and absolutely hands down the best option, especially for signing up as a coach who needs to kind of be the expert on our products, is signing up with the annual All Access Challenge Pack. And that's going to give you digital access for 1 year to every single Beachbody program ever created, plus any 2017 new releases, which we actually just released UV2, which is a dance one, this month. We're going to release Sean Week next month, which is 7 new Sean T workouts. And then in July, we're releasing Shift Shop with our new celeb trainer, Chris Downing. So you'll at least be getting these 3 new programs, if not more. So it would come with that digital access to all of our programs for a year, your 30-day supply of Shakeology, your nutrition plan, and your portion control containers. And that one's actually on promo this month for $160. It's usually $199. So that's definitely the best way to sign up, because then your $40 coaching fee is waived, and I'll get to that question in a sec. Then your $40 coaching fee is waived, and you're getting all the products you need to truly be an expert and truly be able to help people and guide them through their own challenges as a coach. And then the second way to sign up, and this is also an option if financially you're not able to do that, is to pay the $40 business fee or sign up fee. I forget what they call it. I think it's sign up fee. Pay the $40 sign up fee, and then you have to buy 50 PV, personal volume of product, which is going to be about $60 of product in order to become an active coach. So that is an option. It's not the best option because it's a little hard to lead from the front when you're not drinking Shakeology and you're not part of the challenge group and you're not kind of all in. But that is possible if that's the only thing you can afford. So just know that that's there for you. Okay, so the question was, will this benefit IBS or anxiety? Thank you guys for going up and looking at that. So obviously I'm not a doctor, so I cannot sit here and make, medical claims for other people. With that said, I don't personally have any gut issues. My family has horrible gut issues. My dad has Crohn's disease. My cousin also has Crohn's disease and had to have part of his colon removed. My uncle on the other side of the family has ulcerative colitis. Pretty much all my aunts have IBS, so I'm very familiar with those issues. I luckily skated by and somehow didn't get those, and I just have a different autoimmune condition. But I can say that IBS is an autoimmune condition, and it helped me. That's what I can tell you. It's helped me heal myself from autoimmunity, so you can take that for what it's worth. Anxiety, oh my gosh, yes. I'm just going to say yes. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but yes. To this day, I'll get anxiety if I eat bad. When my nutrition is way off, I will wake up within 12 hours and I will have anxiety from my poor nutrition. And also the other thing that's really helped my anxiety is, doing a lot of things for my mind, filling my mind with positive stuff. And the way I always describe it to my new coaches is you know, we evolved to search out the saber-tooth tiger that's going to eat us, right? We're tuned into the negative, and that's just how we evolved to be. It's not our fault. And so that's why we get anxiety, because this world is so overstimulating with negative shit, right? So your brain is like this dirty glass of water. There's always just dirty water in there that's being poured into it every single day, and you can't dump it out because you can't just shelter yourself from every negative thing on the planet. So what's the best thing you can do is just flush it out with clean water all the time. Have clean running water going through it all the time. And so that's what personal development and the coaching community has been for me. You know, plugging into all these really positive people who are working on their health and fitness, and plugging into personal development every single day that helps make me a better person and helps teach me things, and helping myself dial in my nutrition, and adding in superfoods, and working out, which gets oxygen pumping, which is the fundamental unit of healing in your body. Yes, all of these things are going to ultimately help in some capacity, I think, autoimmunity or anxiety. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm only the expert in my own journey, but that was my experience, and from all the research that I've done on autoimmunity and emotional issues, yes, I wholeheartedly believe that. So anyway, I hope this was informative or inspiring, or you got something out of it. I really appreciate your guys' time. I'm sure you know, obviously, that this is truly my passion project. I freaking love what I do. I love coaching. I love health and fitness, and I love that I get the opportunity to pay it forward and allow other people to do what I've done and get healthy like I have and build a business like I have. So if this is something you're interested in, or if you do have any questions left over and you just didn't want to ask them here, you are welcome to reach out to me if I'm the person who invited you here, or reach out to the coach who did invite you here and let them know what your questions are. Let them know that you're ready to sign on. But I'm really excited to see what you guys do with this opportunity. And I'm excited to see some of you guys on the team. So I'm out. I am going to go eat some dinner and keep working. Love you guys. See ya.